all over. I went for Campbell. I started working for Blue Diamond in September 1957 in the company store at number 2. I was the butcher's helper, and I worked in the company store. I made 70 cents an hour. I made $5.60 a day, and we worked 6 days a week. Had our hour off for lunch. I worked there until September of 1959 and 1958. I went to the company furnished scholarship for the employees, and I went to University of Kentucky in September 1958. I think I got my dates wrong a little bit there, but I've done all right the first semester. I failed the second semester, and they sent me home. And so I started. I didn't have nothing to do, and thankful at that time, but the mines weren't doing it very much, and I started working in a warehouse on 15th of February 1960. And I moved up to $12.24 a day, and I thought I died and went to heaven. And so I worked in the warehouse until they hired a couple more men, and we decided we needed a raise. So they put us on salary for $326, 6 days a week salary for $366 a month. And we stayed on that until July 1962. And I went to Scotia whenever they opened that Scotia line up. I was person agent and took care of the warehouse, anything you could get anybody else to do. And I worked there until the August 1963. I got drafted into the Army. And I was in the Army at Fort Knox for 1 month. And the sergeant said, "I'm going to talk to all you married men." And we went around, he's behind the shooting range. He said, "Boy," I said, "I'll tell you one thing," he said, "John Kennedy has decided that we'll take no more married men into the draft." He said, "I can tell you what you can do. You can fight the Army, and the Army will win. The best thing you do is make the best out of it." So I said, "Let the rest of my basic training at Fort Knox, and they sent me to Walter Reed Medical Center. And I worked in military personnel at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. I worked in the officer record section, which knew that I was sometime or other I met every dead doctor they had, dentist, whatever, psychologist, whatever they had. I interviewed them somewhere along the line, because it was a requirement at that time that if you were an officer that you had to audit your records at least once a year. And so once a year you could depend on them being in, so it was in their birth month. I got out of the Army the 12th of August 1965. And I got on Friday. I went back to work at Blue Diamond on Tuesday, I believe it was, the 14th, 15th, 16th of August. I worked a day and a half up there in the Leatherwood area, and of course they had a lot of labor trouble. They got away from the UMW while I was in the Army. A lot of the number 2 mines where I worked had been transferred to the Fire Fort coal company section, and So I worked there during a day and a half, and they sent me back to Scotia. And I worked in Scotia up until April in 1966. And I worked from April 1966 to the early 90s for Ed Bashir. He was person agent. And in my travels, I'd moved up and was over the warehouse at that time. And so in last April, in 1990, they had Mr. Bashir retired, and I took his place. And I was person agent and had the guards help me, on stuff heavy and so forth. And so I looked after me because we had the 24-hour guard that stayed there. We stayed around there most of the time. And I worked there until April the 5th, 1998, and that's when James River Coal Company bought Blue Diamond now. At that time, I didn't have a job, so I called Mr. Cochran, which was president of James River. And he said, "You don't worry about it, you come out tomorrow." And of course, I'd missed all the orientations and so forth that James River put on, and I was a new kid on the block. I lost. And so what I was supposed to do, and they had on me to go through the warehouse inventory and pick out any material that would be associated with new preparation plant at Slim. And so I done that, and had a building about half done, and they finished me some floors to move some of the shelving and so forth. And I set the warehouse up for the preparation plant, and I stayed there until I was done purchasing and went also through the James Rivers program and so forth like that until the 1st of September 2014, and that was whenever they were bought out by Black Hawk, and they didn't have any use for any people that was 77 years old or better. So we come to parting ways, and I guess that's all I could tell you. If you've got a question, I'll try my best to answer them, but that's all I've done. I think I had something like 54 years, and that's a few months for the Blue Diamond, the James River Coal Company, and Blue Diamond again, and through present.
Okay, good. That's good.
And then in 1999, I started to quit, and they said you're going to got to go to Lothar and what's the name of that place? Lico. And they're going to teach you how to run the computers or something like that. The first day I didn't like it at all. The second day I didn't like it much better. Third day I started to go up to turn and go back to the house and tell me I'm ain't fool with it. And I got to think about it. Hell, you go into these grocery stores and you see these fellas around these parts houses. That looks a minute not a damn bit smarter than you are, so I went to work.
Yeah.
You said people sort of pushing buttons on everything. Hell, I can push the buttons too. So I went on to work.
Alrighty.
Of course, in the store department, the store department never did pay good. And of course, that was the only thing available. So, you took the only thing out of this guy's school, and that's the only thing available, so took it.
Yeah.
My brother worked there too. He worked, years ago they used to run a dray truck. You know what a dray truck is?
What?
Dray. They run a dray truck. Every day they had a company truck as the storage department did, and they delivered the groceries that people, you know, because you didn't have no telephones or cellular phones, nothing like that. They would come in the morning and pick out what they wanted and put in a basket. Of course, they put the milk in the freezer, the heated meats in the freezer, the refrigerator holding for them. Then about 10 o'clock, they load up the tray truck. And they put all these people in the basket. They tag a bunch of people stuff in the basket, and they deliver it to their house. And one of the worst things you could do is deliver a basket today and not pick up a basket tomorrow. And the store department, they were strict. And of course, whenever I first started working there in the warehouse, they were strict. I got my hind end chewed out of a damn bag of salt. But not getting the bag of salt, but not going with it for to get the bag of salt. I gave him the key, told him where the salt was at. You don't do that. You go with him. That was one of the worst shooting I got over working in the warehouse ready. The rest of the time I pretty much told the line, you know.
All righty.